The wall of Boulder is under construction, and the first wall has been put into place. The studs are in. Nails are starting to get hammered in. First commit of this big weekend has been settled. We talked about it just a few days ago. I said, look, I expect this the next couple of days to be ramped up. Could there be more today? I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty good about it. They're visiting Colorado. Things are good. Also, Mr. Salter had some interesting things to say about the situation with Julian Lewis, which I found very interesting, which we'll talk about as well. Roll the intro. Good to see you. Show's brought to you by BetUS. Smash the like button. Do all the good things, and let's go, baby. I flushed my juice down in the club. Yes, sir. Coming off like a little bit of a cold. That's sick. I feel like I'm sick like every day. It's ridiculous anymore. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, Zyan McGill, offensive tackle. Believe he'll probably play the inside line. 6'2", what was it, 285, I believe? 6'2", though. 6'2". I do know that. Again, you can kind of see his progress here of where he's transferred from. Let's take a look at his PFF rating, right? Again, this doesn't tell you everything, but at least gives you kind of an idea of what to expect. You always got to take into consideration who they're playing. Hasn't given up a sack, only 2 sacks in 2 years, right? The long column there is his grades from this past year for every game. So you can see it broken down per game. Phenomenal pass blocking outside that one game where he had 21.3, but 81.6, 81.3. Bad game, couple of rough games. Then 84, 84, really bad game. Why these games? I can't tell you though. 73, 74, 76. So all in all, great things there. Run block definitely could use a little bit of TLC with an average you see a rating there of a 63.3, but pass block 75.8. Gotta love that. And again, I believe he was played center. So I don't even know why why it was tackle, because I'm pretty sure he was all conference center for one of his years. So why I had him labeled as a tackle on 3 clearly doesn't know what they're doing, because he never played. He may have played tackle his first year, but 6'2", that's a pretty small size to be playing tackle. Then on the bottom right here corner, you could kind of see his progression where he was. Again, first year at Louisiana Monroe, not fantastic, very subpar grades. But then second year kind of turns around, especially on pass block grades, 77.4. Then he goes to Louisiana Tech, which is an upgrade in competition a little bit. And then maintains that success with the 75.8, and then alongside with the run block improves as well too. So again, there's no O-line coach right now currently for the Buffs, so it'll be interesting to see who comes in, who's able to take over this new line, this new revamped offensive lineman. Look, you gotta love though. We've talked about this before. I would have loved to see a few more O linemen come in from this past class. We got a couple that came in, especially Cardi Smith being a big one there, but you kind of want to continue to build within, right? And then eventually for the portal, trying to plug guys in the portal with O-line anyways, be very tough. You can fill in gaps to build a whole wall. You would like to kind of start to, and they're doing that. They're going into that direction. You can see the writing is on the wall. Really got to get a guy that's going to come into again for the O-line coach to really sell that. I thought Loadout was going to be that guy, but clearly didn't work out. He went to Mississippi State, for anybody who has not been keeping up with that one there. So again, let's take a look at what we were going over just a few days ago. Who is visiting? These are all offensive linemen that are visiting right now. Wagner again, the offensive tackle, or Brandon from Wagner, excuse me. You've got Percy Lewis from Auburn that's visiting right now. They're all visiting right now, right? Zach Chrysler, I believe he just got there either yesterday or the day before that. My days are kind of blending together with this little head cold here. So 4 of the 5 that are visiting this weekend are still left to make an announcement. 1 thus far. If you're able to land all of them, I mean, my goodness. One hell of a plug-in play if you're able to lock and load. Khalil Benson, I was taking a look again just of the overall recruiting class. Somebody who came from Indiana, commits to Colorado, and is going back to Indiana. We know Kurt Singetti had a very successful season this past year with Indiana, but found it very interesting. Again, when he left Indiana, that was Kurt Singetti. That wasn't his first year. He was on the way out. So, no, that was his first year coming in. So maybe, because he brought a lot of guys in from JMU, and maybe they realized, like, hey, you did some great things. We like to have you back. So he's going back to Indiana. I thought that was very interesting. I've never seen kind of like a back and forth situation before, but there's still other commits or other visits that are happening this weekend too on the defense side of things. I was more so focused on the offensive side of things. So we'll continue to keep our eyes and ears peeled. Again, keep the bell turned on in case one does happen. Once we have everything settled, we'll take a look at the entire offensive line. Again, there's so much movement happening right now, especially on the O-line. Guys going into the NFL. A couple of announcements that just happened too. BJ Green, I believe, announced, and then alongside Chidozie Ngakwe, he announced he'll be going into the draft as well. So congrats to those guys for moving on to that next step, having, I would say, a fantastic year at Colorado, allowing them to elevate their stock that much more going to the draft this year. So very cool stuff there. I do want to talk about a interview that happened with Mr. Kaden Salter, the quarterback, because look, we talked about this when it happened, right? What the expectations were. A lot of people were like, Julian Lewis is going to be the starter. This is crazy. That kind of came at me a little bit when I was like, look, Kaden Salter, I wouldn't think is just going to come in and be the guy. And I talked to one of my buddies who is very in tune with following just recruiting and evaluating talent. Does a phenomenal job. He has his misses, don't get it twisted, but does a great job. Was watching Kaden Salter and did a kind of a review on him and loves what he's doing. Loves him a lot. Compared him to the likes of Jaden Daniels. This kid's really, really good. So he had a down year last year. I think it was they lost their OC or something. Lost a lot of wide receivers. CJ Daniels being one of those guys that went to LSU. Now he's at Miami. So lost a lot of talent surrounding him. But this kid's really, really good. But in a recent interview, he said, look, no promises were made to me. All competition. And he goes, he understands his role, right? He said he's a younger guy that wanted somebody in the room that can mentor him, feel like I'm the guy that can do that. I love that. I think there is something here that when I saw this interview, look, it gets overlooked, the progression of quarterbacks and the development of quarterbacks, because everyone wants to be the guy. Everybody wants to start. The kid that just committed to Oregon, the 5-star quarterback that was to California, gets there, sees Malachi Nelson is absolutely him, and realizes he's not going to play, dips and goes to California because he wants to play right away. I'm cool with that. Like, it doesn't matter to me what you want to do, but I do believe that there is a component of sitting behind and learning and growing with somebody. Okay, some guys come in and are him right away. Don't get it twisted. I know that, but there is a component of being able to grow under somebody who's been doing it, especially like Mr. Salter, who's been doing it for 4 years. Right? I think that would be massive for Julian Lewis. And if Julian comes in and absolutely mops the floor with him, even better. Especially hearing after everybody saying, like, look, I like what this kid can do. I like what I've see on tape. I think he's going to be a great asset to the Buffs next year. I think they're in good hands. He even said, he goes, hey, we need to keep an eye on Vegas. Because if Vegas comes out and puts them around that 5.5 win mark, he's like, this kid's going to get him to 6, 7, 8 wins. Easy. He's like, we're hammering home on Vegas. So really, really sold on Salter. Again, the talent we know at Colorado, they're able to pull a lot more talent in the wide receiver room than maybe what a Liberty could do, right? So I think I like this transition. I said it when it happened. I got a little bit of flack. Again, like, oh, nobody would lie to Julian Lewis. Look, I think Julian Lewis understands that this is your role to lose, essentially. But look, if he comes in and wins, that's great. But ultimately, for Buff fans, great place. Phenomenal quarterback room. Very healthy quarterback room. And I think that's where the focus should be. It's like you're in a very comfortable place heading into this. Love to add maybe some more running back talent. Again, you close in on a few of these offensive line guys, and then all of a sudden things are starting to come together a little bit. Because we saw, again, you still got Jordan Seaton. You got Cardi Smith coming in. Jordan Seaton, I expect to have a phenomenal year at that left tackle coming into next year. Cardi Smith, could he do what Jordan Seaton did this year? Right? He had his ups and downs games, but really just a fantastic year in my opinion. Okay? And then you plug in the pieces around it. Cash Cleveland's going to have another year under him. A lot of great things, I think, around this offense that are building up. So, again, we'll keep an eye on it. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. Get the bell turned on because we've got the next couple of days. I think some more commits will be happening. And the month of January is going to be busy. I think with coaching hirings, with the portal being extended as it will be, it's going to be a good month. So, smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love, baby.